Hello, my name is Ryan Sims. I am a current junior who attends South Point High School. I'm here to discuss the current mascot of my school, the Red Raider. I believe that the Red Raider needs to be changed, and it should be changed soon. I believe retiring the Red Raider will help to make South Point and Gaston County schools in general a more open, accepting, and safe space. The National Congress of American Indians has been fighting for the removal of native mascots since 1968, which was 53 years ago. Changing South Point's mascot is long overdue, and I believe now is the time to do so. As stated in Retire the Red Raiders policy brief, the name Red Raider can be reasonably considered a derogatory comment or slur, and the mascot can reasonably be considered a derogatory cartoon, which are both prohibited under Gaston County Schools' own harassment policy. The Red Raider is an offensive, insensitive, and racist character that does not properly represent Native American heritage or culture and shouldn't be excused. There is no reason as to why the Red Raider should continue to be in place. Misrepresenting someone's heritage and culture through the use of a stereotyped character is grossly immoral, and it should be stopped. We're all here today as members of Gaston County Schools, and it's our responsibility to make Gaston County Schools the best it can be. It's our responsibility to positively impact our community. It's our responsibility to make our community as welcoming as we can. It's our responsibility to address the wrongdoings inside our community and to try our best to correct them. I believe we have the chance to do all of these things right now. Retiring the Red Raider will help to make our community the best it can be, and as previously stated, it's our responsibility to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. You can go ahead, Ms. Ware.
My name is Lena Ware, and I live in Belmont, and my address is on the form.
Right.
South Point High School's mascot is incredibly offensive and outdated. While I am not a student at South Point, I can see the bad image it gives to all Gaston County schools. I am a student at Gaston Early College High School, and I am able to take pride in my mascot. I am heartbroken that students at South Point can't do the same. I don't feel shame at events or games because I know my mascot isn't perpetuating harmful stereotypes of Indigenous people. I know the arguments some might say, or some might start saying that it's only a few people who care. That isn't true. The world is becoming more and more progressive. The longer we wait to change the South Point mascot, the worse Gaston County schools will look. Even the baseball team, the Cleveland Indians, are changing their name, making the South Point mascot even more outdated. I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Ware.
Good evening. My name is Vhong Hong. I'm a senior at South Point High School. However, I'm also a person of color. I'm a member of this community just as you are, and I am appalled at the fact that there is still an ongoing discussion about whether or not the Red Raider mascot is appropriate. The Red Raider is a caricature of a Native American person using stereotyped imagery and symbolism without regard or respect for the culture it stems from. Misusing someone's culture and heritage as an emblem for a sports team is dehumanizing and alienating for Indigenous students, and this is a sentiment that has been echoed by many people many times over. It's naive to believe this mascot is harmless when so many individuals, organizations, and experts have said otherwise. If this school district isn't working to make a safe and welcoming and learning environments for everyone, what, and more importantly, who is it for? While I cannot speak for Native Americans or even for other people of color at South Point, knowing that this school tolerates something like this makes me lose confidence in the willingness for this school to be inclusive to me, an Asian American. To put into perspective, what if it was my people being stereotyped? What if it was my face, reduced to stereotypical features and images to become a caricature printed on t-shirts? If this community is willing to tolerate and even take pride in something so clearly racially insensitive, what does that say about our character as a school and as a county? I understand that this mascot is something that this school and this community has taken pride in for many years, but ultimately it has been at the expense of others and at the expense of students at South Point. If this issue is solely about school pride, then changing the mascot should not interfere with the love and appreciation you have for this school. By changing the mascot, you would allow everyone the opportunity to find pride and comfort in the school. And isn't this the purpose of a mascot? Native American organizations and associations have spoken out against Native American mascots. Students and staff have spoken out against the mascot. Other sports teams have recognized this issue and changed theirs as well. This community can't hide behind the guise of tradition forever. This change is inevitable. Do you want to be the people who delay history or make it? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Natalie OConnor, and my address should be on my form as well.
It is. Thank you.
I'm a senior at South Point, and I'd like to start with a statement from the Center for Native American Youth. For the health and well-being of all youth, in an effort to create a just world, the Center for Native American Youth urges the Gaston County School Board to retire the South Point High School's Red Raider mascot and all associated Native American imagery and logos. We must work together to create a world that truly respects, honors, and uplifts all cultures. The Center for Native American Youth at the Aspen Institute has a mission as an education and advocacy organization to improve the health, safety, and overall well-being of Native American youth. The Center for Native American Youth, CNAY, opposes the call for change, all mascots and logos that amplify derogatory and racial misappropriated terms regarding the Native American population. The use of these terms and logos perpetuates the systemic racism within our country. They represent inaccurate depictions of the Native American population and promote cultural appropriation. The non-Native rationale of utilizing racial slurs as mascots and logos is unacceptable. It is disrespectful and disheartening. The racist logos and mascots have created social stigmas that have detrimentally impacted the health and well-being of Native American youth. These logos and mascots erect intergenerational traumas rooted in the forced assimilation of the population. Since first contact, the Native American population has fought to live, to walk on their homelands, and to preserve their way of life. Through centuries of injustice, the population continues to live and draw strength from their culture and identity. The Native American population is resilient and deserving of respect and honor. Race-based mascots and logos do not honor the strong cultures of Native Americans. CNAY's call for change is simple: that all educational institutes and sports teams establish policy that prohibits derogatory mascots, logos, and cultural appropriation. CNAY encourages all institutions and sports teams to educate their communities on the true history and resilience of the Native American population. Together, we can create an equitable society that honors, values, and respects everyone. In Resilience, the Center for Native American Youth. I have spoken to Mr. Ford, the principal of South Point High School, and he informed me that the decision of changing the mascot is the Gaston County School Board. We request Justin Davis to contact us about retiring the Red Raider. I know you as educators care about creating a positive environment for every student. Preserving the Red Raider is the continuing of harmful stereotypes and unsafe learning environment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. O'Connor.
So, Tanake ni ya Haley Brazil. So I said hello, my name is Haley Brazil. I am a citizen of the Catawba Nation. I grew up in Gaston County and I graduated from East Gaston High School in 2016. East Gaston opened in 1972 when the communities of Stanley and Mount Holly consolidated. At this time, the two communities held a contest to determine the mascot for East Gaston. Initially, the mascot was a crest with a Native American head in gold and was later changed to an arrow passing through the school's initials. Our longtime sports rival, South Point High School, was established in 1964 with the Native mascot being a Red Raider and was depicted as a red-skinned Native American man with a mohawk, earrings, and a feather. 1964 is 14 years before the passing of the American Indian Religious Freedom Act, and is 14 years before the passing of the Indian Child Welfare Act. For perspective, non-tribal students at South Point High School and East Gaston were encouraged to play Indian, were encouraged to play Indian in the same time period of my ancestors being beaten, jailed, and forcibly removed from their families. All for being Native, while the high schoolers got to play Native. While the student body of our local high schools braided their hair, painted their skins, and let out war chants following the tomahawk chomp every Friday night after a football game, my relations were having our heads shaved. We had our languages beaten out of us. and we endured sexual violence and heavy labor. Excuse my shaking. I drove 6 hours today to say that I am not your mascot and I am not honored. Institutionalized racism is not honorable. If you want to honor the Native American community, then listen to us. Listen to us when we say that mascots are demeaning to us. Listen to us when we tell you that not only is it affecting our youth's mental health, but it is also affecting yours. Not only is it affecting the self-worth of our Native youth, it is affecting yours. I was one of the handful of Native American students that graduated Gaston County Schools, and I am not honored.
Ms.
To those,
Brazil, just wrap it up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
To those who have graduated from these schools and pride themselves in warrior pride or Native pride, I say this: you don't know what it takes to be a Native American. Warriors are not what you think of warriors. The warrior is not someone who fights because no one has the right to take another life. The warrior, for us, is the one who sacrifices himself for the good of others. His task is to take care of the elderly, the defenseless, those who cannot provide for themselves, and above all, the children, the future of our humanity. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Frady. I live in Belmont. My address is on the form, and I am an alum of South Point High School. I graduated in 2013. Tonight, I will be reading a letter from the NC Commission of Indian Affairs, and it reads as follows. Dear Chairman Moore and Board of Education members, the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs was created in 1971 by the NC General Assembly to deal fairly and effectively with Indian affairs in the state of North Carolina. The chairman of the Commission's Culture Committee has brought the matter of South Point High School's Red Raider mascot to our attention and requested that we respond accordingly. We have also received information from citizens in Gaston County calling for the retirement of the South Point Red Raider mascot and all imagery associated with it. We believe that the portrayal of American Indians as mascots is demeaning and detrimental to American Indians and should not be utilized in an educational environment. American Indian mascots, logos, and sports team nicknames are discriminatory and detrimental to the self-identity, self-concept, and self-esteem of American Indians. Therefore, we recommend that the Red Raiders mascot and all other American Indian mascots be retired for all schools in Gaston County. Information regarding the negative impact of American Indian mascots is referenced on page 71 of the State Advisory Council on Indian Education report to the North Carolina State Board of Education. 2020 Vision for Culturally Responsible Classrooms through Tribal Consultation. The North Carolina State Board of Education approved a recommendation in June 2002 indicating that public school administrators and local boards of education should review their policies and procedures regarding the use of American Indian mascots, logos, and other demeaning imagery and make changes as needed. The North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs strongly encourages the Gaston County Board of Education to retire all American Indian mascots, logos, and sports team nicknames presently being utilized by the school system. Finally, we request that this letter be read aloud during the public comment period of a Gaston County School Board meeting. Sincerely, Gregory A. Richardson, Executive Director, NC Commission of Indian Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brady.